Ever wondered why people sometimes act all nice, but really, they're just jealous? Yeah, behind those smiles and friendly gestures, there's often a whole bunch of hidden envy and other not-so-nice feelings. Today, we're going to dive into the world of human expressions and unravel the mysteries of passive-aggressive behavior. You know, those subtle digs and fake support that never really pans out. It's like a whole secret world behind the scenes of everyday interactions. And guess what? Sometimes we're not just learning about others, we're also facing our own insecurities. So, if you're up for it, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications. Let's see if you've ever come across these sneaky behaviors, either in yourself or in others. Let's get real about passive-aggressive behavior. It's at the core of human drama, tangled up in all sorts of emotions like envy and dissatisfaction. Instead of just being straight up about how they feel, some people opt for these indirect, kind of shady moves. These behaviors create this whole murky landscape of social interactions where things aren't always as they seem. Envious folks, instead of dealing with their feelings head-on, prefer to hide behind a facade of niceness. It's like they're afraid to confront their emotions openly, so they resort to these subtle jabs and fake smiles. But you know what? It's not just about pointing fingers at others. Sometimes we got to take a good look in the mirror and admit that maybe we've done some passive-aggressive stuff too. So let's do some soul-searching and see if any of these actions resonate with us. Have you ever caught yourself being passive-aggressive, or maybe you've seen it in someone else? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's unpack this together. Choose to tread the tricky path of sarcasm and hidden criticisms. You know, those comments that seem nice on the surface, but sting like poison arrows underneath? They're thrown to hurt without having to be upfront about it. This passive-aggressive behavior is like a trap, both for the person doing it and the one on the receiving end. For the sender, it's like they're avoiding dealing with their real feelings or fears. There's this tangled mess of emotions they haven't dealt with properly, so they express them in twisted ways. And for the person getting these comments, it's confusing. They're left wondering if it's just harmless banter or a sneak attack. It's like trying to crack a code every time they talk. Looking deeper into passive-aggressive behavior makes us think about why people choose to express their negative feelings in such a roundabout way. Maybe it's because they're scared of being vulnerable, or they're trying to save face by avoiding direct confrontation. It's a big question that makes us think about how we handle our own emotions and other people's too. So, by understanding passive-aggressive behavior, we not only learn about a tricky part of human relationships, but also take a journey into understanding ourselves better. Envy and discontent, as messy as they are, can actually be opportunities for personal growth if we're brave enough to face them head-on. So let's take a moment to reflect on that. This topic is all about diving into our own selves to understand why we act the way we do in our interactions with others. One thing we often stumble upon is something pretty hurtful: when people downplay the achievements of others. This happens when someone, usually because they're jealous, tries to make someone else's hard work and success seem small or not important. They might say things like, "That's no big deal," or "I could do it too if I tried," making it seem like what the other person did wasn't really that impressive. Sometimes, they might just stay quiet or act uninterested when someone shares good news, sending the message that they don't think the achievement is worth celebrating. But here's the thing: when people do this, it's often because they're not feeling great about themselves. By putting others down, they're trying to make themselves feel better, like they're not the only ones who can't achieve something big. It's like they're trying to cover up their own insecurities by making someone else's success seem less important. But deep down, this kind of behavior shows that they're struggling with their own feelings of insecurity and can't handle them in a healthy way. When we think about how our words and actions can hurt others, especially by downplaying their achievements. It's a chance for us to reflect on how we want to treat people. This kind of behavior doesn't just hurt the person doing it, it also shows that they're struggling with envy and dissatisfaction. But it's also a chance for us to realize the importance of cheering on others when they succeed. When someone wins, it's a win for all of us. So, when we think about why some people downplay others' achievements, it's a good time to look at ourselves and think about how we handle jealousy and resentment. It's a chance to be more understanding and make our communities happier and more supportive places. Another sneaky way envy can show up is when someone doesn't support or even discourages others. Instead of openly criticizing, they might act like they're just being realistic by questioning people's goals and dreams. This can really mess with someone's confidence and determination. Instead of feeling cheered on, they start doubting themselves and their dreams. It's like a silent poison that weakens their resolve and self-esteem. When someone who should be offering encouragement and support chooses to sow doubt and discouragement instead, it's like a betrayal. The person on the receiving end starts questioning their own abilities and whether their dreams are worth pursuing. It's a sneaky form of envy that eats away at their confidence and makes them feel small. But here's the thing, we all have a choice in how we treat others. We can choose to lift them up and celebrate their successes, knowing that their victories benefit us all. And we can choose to be a source of encouragement, helping others pursue their goals with confidence. So let's remember the power of support and positivity. By cheering each other on and believing in each other's dreams, we create a stronger, more resilient community where everyone can thrive. Let's choose to be the kind of people who build each other up, not tear each other down. When someone acts like they're just being realistic or showing concern, but they're actually being discouraging, it shows there's a lot going on inside their head. They might not just be jealous of others, but they might also be trying to make themselves feel better about their own failures. They twist things around in their mind to convince themselves that if they can't achieve their dreams, then it's okay if others don't try either. Dealing with this kind of behavior takes a lot of self-awareness and inner strength. It's important to realize that when someone doesn't support you or discourages you, it says more about their own insecurities than it does about your goals. Facing up to this truth can be freeing. It lets you find motivation and support from within yourself and from people who genuinely want to see you succeed. When we think about how envy shows up as lack of support and constant discouragement, it's a reminder of how important it is to encourage each other and believe in each other's abilities and dreams. Overcoming these obstacles doesn't just make us stronger and more confident, it also paves the way for a community where everyone's successes are celebrated together. Now, let's talk about another way envy can rear its head in relationships: exaggerated imitation. This goes beyond just admiring someone. It's like becoming a carbon copy of them. Sometimes people envy someone so much that they start copying not just their actions or style, but even their whole identity. While imitation is often seen as a form of flattery, in this case, it's a sign of something deeper and darker. Copying others out of envy might seem harmless at first, maybe even flattering. But when it gets intense, it turns into something darker: obsession and competition. The person doing the copying isn't just trying to share interests. They're trying to take over the other person's spot, to compete for attention, and sometimes even to outshine them. This behavior shows they're really unhappy with themselves and always seeking validation from outside. It's like they're looking in a twisted mirror, losing themselves in someone else's image instead of being true to who they are. Copying isn't just about trying to be like the person they envy. It's also about desperately wanting the same success and admiration. But it's a dead-end road because it ignores the fact that everyone's unique and valuable in their own way. Often, behind this urge to copy, there's deep insecurity and low self-esteem. The person doing it might feel inadequate and think copying others will make them feel better or more successful. But in reality, it just makes things worse by eroding their authenticity and making life less rich and fulfilling. What's the solution? We need to promote self-acceptance and celebrate individuality. Encouraging people to explore and develop their own talents and interests is key to building relationships based on respect and genuine admiration, not on destructive competition. By confronting and moving past the urge to copy others, we make room for more authentic human connections and celebrate the diverse perspectives that make our world so interesting. Competitiveness, which often comes from envy, can lead to some really destructive behavior. It's more than just wanting to do well for yourself. It's about feeling like you have to outdo everyone else, even if it means putting them down. In really bad cases, people might even try to sabotage others just to come out on top. Healthy competition can be a good thing. It pushes us to be better and achieve more. But when envy twists that competitiveness, it becomes like a disease of the spirit, an obsession that messes with our natural drive to improve. In this messed up way of thinking, winning doesn't feel good unless someone else loses, especially if their success makes us jealous. It's a never-ending cycle where we're never satisfied because we're always comparing ourselves to others. This unhealthy competitiveness shows how insecure and messed up our sense of self-worth can be when it's tied to others failing. Envious people caught up in this mess might go to extremes, like constantly putting down others' achievements or even sabotaging their success. This doesn't just hurt the people they're targeting, it also messes up relationships by breeding mistrust and hostility. What's the solution? We need to recognize and dial back this toxic competitiveness before it turns into full-blown conflict or sabotage. This means doing some serious soul-searching and focusing on celebrating collective success and working together instead of tearing each other down. By shifting our focus from beating others to beating our own limits, we can find a healthier path for personal growth. Creating environments that encourage cooperation and mutual respect is key to dialing down the destructive competitiveness that envy can bring. Not only does this make us feel better individually, but it also helps build stronger communities where everyone's success is celebrated as a win for all. Handling envy and excessive competitiveness with maturity and understanding can turn these challenges into opportunities for personal and collective growth, making society a more harmonious and productive place for everyone. If you're enjoying what you're reading, consider getting the ebook Stoicism in the 21st Century: Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges. It can help you find prosperity, abundance, and better relationships. You can find the link to purchase in the pinned comment. Let's talk about something called selective indifference. It's a sneaky but powerful behavior in human interactions, often driven by envy. Instead of showing interest or reacting when someone else succeeds or feels happy, a person might act like they don't care at all. But it's not just about not responding. It's about intentionally ignoring the other person's good moments to make them feel small. This silence is like a weapon aimed at stealing the spotlight from someone's achievements and making them feel like their success isn't worth celebrating. Selective indifference is a twisted way for envious people to try to balance their own emotions. Instead of dealing with their own issues or trying to grow themselves, they choose to tear others down to make themselves feel better. But this only makes things worse, creating a chilly atmosphere and pushing people apart. It's important to recognize this kind of behavior, both in ourselves and in others. By understanding it, we can reflect on our own insecurities and work to overcome them in a positive way. Building a culture where we recognize and genuinely appreciate each other's achievements is a step towards creating warmer and more supportive relationships. By being aware of selective indifference, we can start to break this cycle of negativity. Recognizing when we or others are using it allows us to confront our own insecurities and find healthier ways to cope. Instead of tearing others down, we can learn to celebrate their successes and support each other in our own journeys. Promoting a culture of recognition and appreciation for others' achievements fosters a more positive and uplifting environment for everyone. It strengthens relationships and creates a sense of unity rather than division. When we actively choose to acknowledge and celebrate the accomplishments of others, we contribute to building a community where everyone feels valued and encouraged. Let's make a conscious effort to reject selective indifference and embrace a mindset of genuine support and celebration. Together, we can cultivate a more compassionate and empowering world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. One of the sneakiest tactics people use out of envy is manipulating information. This means they twist or hide important details on purpose to harm someone's reputation or hold them back in their career or social life. When someone does this, it shows they're not just willing to hurt others, but they're also committed to actions that can seriously mess up someone's life. Information manipulation comes in different forms, like spreading rumors that aren't true, or leaving out details that could help someone. The goal is to make the person look bad, whether at work or in their social group, by creating fake problems for them to deal with. And by spreading lies, the envious person tries to make others see the target in a negative light, questioning their skills, character, or intentions. This behavior isn't just morally wrong, it shows how envy can mess up relationships big time. The damage from information manipulation isn't just a little awkwardness, it can change the course of someone's life, shutting doors of opportunity and causing long-lasting conflicts. That's why it's so important to be careful with the information we get and share. Being aware of how info can be twisted helps us protect ourselves and others. Building environments based on honesty, respect, and fact-checking is crucial to stop this kind of sneaky behavior. And when we spot someone trying to manipulate information, it's important to step in, correct the lies, and encourage open and honest communication. When we encounter attempts at information manipulation, it's vital to take action. We can't just stand by and let it happen. We need to step up to protect potential targets and put a stop to this harmful behavior. This might involve setting the record straight by correcting any false information or supporting more transparent and reliable communication channels. By being proactive in addressing information manipulation, we create a safer and more trustworthy environment for everyone. We build a culture where honesty and integrity are valued, and where people can feel confident that the information they receive is accurate and fair. Ultimately, combating information manipulation requires a collective effort. We all play a role in promoting transparency, fact-checking, and standing up against deceitful practices. Together, we can create a community where trust is upheld and where individuals are empowered to pursue their goals without fear of malicious interference. Creating systems that prioritize honesty and integrity over blindly pursuing success is crucial. When we confront information manipulation, which often stems from envy, it takes courage and determination. But it's a battle worth fighting because it protects not only individuals from harm, but also strengthens our communities and societies as a whole. In a world where truth and trust are increasingly rare, safeguarding the integrity of information becomes a responsibility we all share. Let's talk about something we all might have noticed but might not fully understand. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes. It's when someone smiles, but you can tell it's not genuine because their eyes don't light up. This kind of smile is often seen in people who are envious. It shows how emotions can be hidden beneath seemingly friendly interactions. While someone might say all the right things to seem happy or supportive, their body language and subtle cues reveal their true feelings of resentment and envy. This phenomenon reminds us of the complexity of human emotions and how people can hide their true feelings. The disconnect between what someone says and what they truly feel can be subtle but significant. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes gives us a glimpse into someone's inner struggle between wanting to appear positive and feeling unhappy or envious. Recognizing these inconsistencies in daily interactions requires paying close attention and being sensitive to the nuances of human communication. It's essential not just for understanding relationships, but also for navigating them more consciously and authentically. When we notice a smile that doesn't reach the eyes, it's a cue to dig deeper into the dynamics of the relationship and consider the real emotions that might be hidden underneath. Recognizing this phenomenon gives us a chance to think about how genuine we are in showing our emotions to others. In a social world that often expects us to always be positive and supportive, it can be tough to admit when we're feeling envious or resentful, but being honest with ourselves about these feelings is an important step toward personal growth and forming deeper connections with others. Encouraging authenticity in our interactions and being open about complex emotions like envy can help clear up misunderstandings and strengthen our relationships. By acknowledging and understanding the complexity of our emotions, we can learn to express them more sincerely and constructively. Instead of hiding behind a smile that doesn't reach our eyes, we can strive for emotional honesty and vulnerability. When we notice insincere expressions of happiness or support, it's a reminder to be more emotionally aware, both towards others and ourselves. Cultivating this honesty and vulnerability can not only make our personal experiences richer, but also contribute to a kinder and more understanding society, where smiles truly reflect what's in our hearts. And if you've read this far, drop a comment to let us know you're engaged and focused on your personal growth journey. Let's keep going. Let's talk about another interesting aspect of human behavior: projecting insecurities onto others. This happens when someone who's feeling envious tries to shift their own insecurities, flaws, and dissatisfactions onto someone else. They might point out flaws or highlight negative things in others that actually reflect their own internal struggles. This isn't just a way to protect themselves, it's also an attempt to make the other person feel insecure or inferior by criticizing them or emphasizing their supposed flaws. Essentially, the envious person is trying to distract from their own shortcomings by making someone else feel bad. When someone projects their insecurities onto others, it might make them feel better temporarily. They might think that by pointing out flaws in others, it makes their own insecurities seem less important. But this strategy doesn't really fix the problem. It just avoids dealing with their own issues of low self-esteem and difficulty in handling feelings of inadequacy. Projection of insecurities doesn't help the person grow, and it can really hurt the self-esteem and emotional well-being of those who are targeted. It creates a cycle of negativity and resentment that makes it hard to have healthy relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Recognizing projection of insecurities as a form of envy takes a lot of self-awareness and empathy. When we face criticisms or judgments that seem more about the critic than the criticized, it's a cue to dig deeper and find better ways to deal with our own vulnerabilities. Encouraging open conversations about insecurities and flaws without judgment is key to overcoming this tendency to project onto others. By confronting our insecurities directly and with kindness, we can break this cycle of projection and build stronger self-esteem and more genuine relationships. Addressing projection of insecurities is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Transforming this defense mechanism into an opportunity for empathy can make our lives better and create a healthier, more supportive environment for everyone. Let's talk about another sneaky way envy can show up in relationships: covert sabotage. Instead of competing openly or devaluing others directly, people who practice covert sabotage do it in more subtle ways, hidden under the guise of normal behavior. This makes it one of the sneakiest forms of envy. Covert sabotage operates under the radar, making it hard to detect. Instead of engaging in obvious competition or openly devaluing others, those who practice covert sabotage choose indirect methods. This could involve subtly undermining someone's efforts or success, often without the person even realizing it's happening. For example, someone might offer seemingly helpful advice that actually leads to failure, or they might conveniently forget to share important information that could benefit the other person. These actions may seem innocent on the surface, but they're actually driven by envy and a desire to keep the other person from succeeding. Covert sabotage thrives in environments where competition is fierce and achievements are highly valued. It's a way for envious individuals to try to level the playing field without drawing attention to their true intentions. By quietly sabotaging others, they hope to maintain their own position or gain an advantage without facing direct confrontation. Dealing with covert sabotage requires vigilance and a keen eye for subtle signs. It's important to trust your instincts and pay attention to any patterns of behavior that seem suspicious. By addressing covert sabotage head-on and fostering a culture of openness and support, we can create healthier and more positive relationships built on trust and mutual respect. Covert sabotage involves sneaky tactics like creating obstacles to hinder someone's progress, spreading subtle misinformation, or influencing others' perceptions negatively. These actions aim to quietly undermine someone's success without being obvious about it. The tricky part is that covert sabotage often hides behind coincidences or common problems, making it hard for the victim to realize they're being targeted. Dealing with covert sabotage isn't easy. It can make the victim doubt themselves and feel insecure. It can also have a lasting impact on their emotional well-being and their career or personal life. What makes it even tougher is that it's difficult to detect and prove, leaving the victim feeling like they're fighting shadows and questioning their own abilities. To tackle covert sabotage, we need to be alert to signs of sabotage in relationships and cultivate self-confidence. Understanding that sabotage stems from the saboteur's own insecurities can provide some comfort and strength to overcome these challenges. Creating an environment of openness, trust, and mutual respect can also help reduce the risks associated with covert sabotage. By promoting honest communication and building relationships based on support, we can create a culture that discourages envy and sabotage. Addressing covert sabotage invites us to think deeply about the complexities of human relationships and the importance of integrity and support in our workplaces and personal lives. Through awareness and a commitment to positive values, we can overcome the challenges posed by envy and sabotage, creating a space where both collective success and individual growth are celebrated and valued. By fostering an environment where transparency, open communication, and mutual respect thrive, we can mitigate the risks associated with covert sabotage, encouraging honest dialogue about the challenges we face and striving to build relationships based on trust and mutual support are essential steps in creating a culture that discourages envy and sabotage. When we address the issue of covert sabotage, we are prompted to reflect on the complexities of human relationships. We realize the significance of cultivating work environments and personal lives characterized by integrity and unconditional support. Through awareness and a commitment to positive values, we can aspire to overcome the hurdles posed by envy and sabotage. In doing so, we promote a space where both collective success and individual growth are not only acknowledged, but also celebrated and valued. This approach not only strengthens interpersonal connections, but also fosters a sense of unity and resilience, empowering individuals to navigate challenges with confidence and grace. Thank you for joining us on this journey. For more insightful content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Until next time, may your path be guided by wisdom, and may your heart find peace in the Stoic way of life.